Greetings, YouTube. I hope that the AC unit isn't too loud. So I saw on the news yesterday that Taco the Clown plans on shutting down the youth suicide hotline for the queer community. Now remember, the Republican Party is the party of won't someone think of the children, except if you're members of the queer community. If you're in the LGBTQ plus spectrum, well, then they look at you and they say, fuck y'all. And again, the cruelty is the point. This will cost human lives. There will be teens who die because of this action. But as far as the Nazis are concerned, the right people will be dying, so they're not interested. Now, this may come back and bite some of them on the ass because some of them have kids who are in the queer community, whether they know it or not. And some of those kids would have reached out to that kind of a hotline if they had the opportunity. Now, I pray that those kids have some kind of support network outside their family. Friends, counselors, somebody that cares about them. Someone they can confide in and they can be their authentic self around. Because the GOP just does not give a shit about queer people at all. You are just a speed bump as far as the GOP is concerned. The Nazi Party wants to just steamroll right over you. The trans community was just the thin edge of the wedge. They wanted to use that narrative, that rhetoric, to get their foot in the door and then just start pushing and going for the next group and the next group and the next group. And of course, they did the same thing with undocumented immigrants. Now remember, being an undocumented immigrant in the United States, crossing the border without documentation is a misdemeanor. And yet we have a 34-time felon in the White House. Does that seem strange to anybody? That they're hunting down completely peaceful, law-abiding folks who are just part of the community? Because these people aren't criminals. They've shown that. Almost no one that Taco the Clown is having deported and kicked out of this country, having them arrested with masked men in unmarked vehicles, is plucked off the street, which is called kidnapping last time I checked. But again, the cruelty is the point. They want people to be scared. They want people to leave on their own. They want people not to come here. Even though the jobs that are being left open are not being filled, because Americans don't want to do those jobs. Yes, the employers that were exploiting undocumented workers were doing just that. They were exploiting them. But now there's no one to do that work. It's impacting our agricultural community. They just don't have anyone to take the plants off the fields, the fruit off the vine. But again, they don't care. They're short-sighted, they're stupid, they're Nazis. But this particular move with the suicide hotline is particularly cruel in my book. These are kids, teenagers, who desperately want to become adults. They just need help. And instead of giving them help, the GOP is giving them cruelty, is giving them bigotry, prejudice, and discrimination, is telling them that their lives aren't worth anything. So if you're in the queer community and you're a teen and you hear this video, you see my face and listen to my voice, you are worth something. Your very existence is precious. I want to see you grow up to be an adult. I want to see you grow up to become an old man like me. I want to see you live. I know it's going to be hard. I know that the situation is getting worse and worse every day. But your very continued existence is an act of defiance. It is an act of protest. And it shows that anyone in the queer community, whether they're 16 or 60, has more bravery in their heart than the entirety of the GOP. Fuck those Nazis.